I've decided that for myself, being able to get myself my own work is the only way I can be successful, because I know what I want. I'll work hard for myself and nobody else really cares. That's the harsh truth, but that is how it is. Welcome to the Business of Beauty podcast, where we talk money with people who work in beauty-based industries. Today, I'm going to mix things up a little bit. I just celebrated my 27th birthday, so today I'm going to do a special solo episode talking about 27 things I have learned in my 27 years of life. Some of these are going to be big life tips, and some are just going to be like random little travel hacks or fashion tips or tips for taking pictures of yourself, whatever. It's a big mix, and it was just the first 27 things that came to my mind. So let's get into it. Okay, so for the first one, in honor of my 27th birthday, I just have to say that you should start your skincare journey early. I used skincare for the first time, I think after high school, maybe when I was 19 or 20, and I would definitely recommend that you start a little bit earlier. It can never be too early to start your skincare routine, and it will save yourself money down the road. If you care about wrinkles, you won't have to get Botox. You will be looking youthful and everything like that if you just start the skincare early, okay? Of course, you should love your body and your face at any age, but I personally don't love the look of wrinkles. I like to look youthful, especially when I work in an industry that is obsessed with youth. So yeah, that's my tip. Start skincare early. Okay, number 2, and this goes for relationships, friendships, work relationships. Being direct, clear, and concise is not rude. It is just getting your point across clearly. I think it saves a lot of confusion, and it just gets things rolling a lot quicker. You're not beating around the bush. People actually know what you're saying. And I think especially written over email and things like that, it just comes across a lot more clear and direct and confident. All right, my third tip, everyone is obsessed with themselves and nobody is looking at you. Now, I am talking mostly about like when you're going out or something and a button fell off of your shirt and you are freaking out about it. Oh my gosh, it's ruined my whole outfit. My whole evening is ruined. No, nobody cares. Nobody's looking at you, because just like you're obsessing over that one button on your shirt, everybody else is obsessing over their button or their stain or their rip that they got in their pants, whatever it is. So just rock your outfit, be confident, and nobody's going to notice a little flaw on your outfit or your makeup or whatever. I think about this tip a lot when I am doing my eyeliner, because we all obsess over how the edge should be. It has to be the perfect little point and it has to match up with the other eye so evenly. But in reality, nobody is ever going to notice that, and just get it close enough and get on with your evening. This helps me get ready a lot faster and out the door so I can actually enjoy whatever the heck I'm getting ready for. Number 4 is to get clothes that actually fit. You may not be at the exact weight that you want to be. Maybe you're losing weight. Maybe you're trying to put on weight. Whatever your situation is, buy clothes that actually fit you. You don't want to be swimming in your clothes if you get stuff that's too big because you are self-conscious about something, and you don't want to be sausage wrapped into something that is too small. This is something that I have to repeatedly tell myself, because I'll buy clothes that are a little bit on the tighter side because I want to fit into them eventually. But it doesn't look right, and it just makes you sad and depressed to try on clothes that don't fit or that squeeze you in certain areas. So I would recommend that even if you have to size up a little bit and purchase that size that is unfamiliar to you and feels too big maybe, just do it, because you'll feel more confident wearing something that actually fits, and you can cut the tags out if you don't want to look at the actual size, okay? Number 5 is to buy used dishware. Now, this is what I'm talking about with some of my tips being so very random, but I was just thinking about this because my sister was shopping for some house items. She was looking for some things for her kitchen, some cups, some plates, whatever else, and she was going to a thrift store. And I was like, are you really going to buy used dishware? Like, that's your stuff in your home that you are actually eating off of. Like, that's kind of gross, right? And she's like, India, think about all the times that you go to restaurants. You are using plates and forks and cups that random strangers have slobbered all over. So what does it matter if you buy used dishware for your home? And that really resonated with me. I was like, oh my God, I've never even realized that. Doing this can save you a lot of money. And then also, You can find some really beautiful, like vintage crystal type stuff at thrift stores that you just won't be finding at IKEA and Home Goods, okay? And also, it's better for the environment if you're into that sort of thing. But anyway, let's move on to number 6. Now, if you are not very good at managing your money, like myself, I would definitely recommend you find a way to save money without realizing it. There are a lot of options out there for this. I know some programs with like your work or your bank allow you to automatically deposit like 30% of your paycheck into a separate account so that you don't even see it and you don't even have access to that money. So, ask your employer or talk to your bank or whatever your situation is, figure out a way to auto deposit money somewhere that you won't even see it. And that money will add up so fast and you can actually use it for, a major purchase or a rainy day or, if shit hits the fan. I personally use an app called Digit, and I love this app because depending on how much money I'm putting in and taking out, it will automatically take money out of my checking account and put it into its own little saving deposit account. And that Digit app is backed by, I forget what it's called, but like if they go under, your money is still safe. So I love that app, and it's so funny because I won't even look at it for a couple months and then I'll open it back up again and it's like, oh my God, I have a couple $1,000s in there. Like, whoa, I didn't even notice that money leaving my account. So if you are bad at money managing, definitely find a way to automatically save money, especially if you don't have that discipline to like put $20 away every few days or put $100 away every couple weeks, whatever your situation is. If you're not good at doing that yourself, have an automatic app or service do it for you. Number 7, check your subscriptions frequently. This also falls under the umbrella of people who are maybe not so good at managing their money, like myself. And I will sign up for those free trials and, they'll start charging me and I won't even realize it, or I will double subscribe for things. I found out recently that I had 2 YouTube TV accounts and 2 Hulu accounts, and that is really embarrassing to admit, but I just wasn't very good at checking up on that stuff, and yeah, I wasted a lot of money. So now I check my subscriptions in my iPhone pretty frequently. If you don't know, you just go to settings and you click your Apple ID, I think, and then you can go to subscriptions and see all the different things that you're subscribed to on your phone. And then check your bank statements for those Hulu records, see if it's charging you twice, see if that YouTube TV is charging you twice, and just keep up to date on those because those free trials are there to trick you, and I have fallen victim to the trick many times. So just I advice for myself and for everyone listening, just keep up with your subscriptions and check them regularly. Okay, for number 8, we are kind of transitioning more into my posing tips. If you don't know, I did a whole series of posing tips on my Instagram. It was called 30 Days of Posing Tips. And I think for the most part, my audience really enjoyed it. So I'm kind of throwing in some of those here. So for number 8, show people how you want the photo to look before you actually give them your camera to take the picture. So what I always do is I kind of look at the scenery and I take my phone and I hold it like this. I do a higher angle, a lower angle, maybe move a little bit this way for better lighting. I'll sometimes even have the other person stand in there and I'll take a picture of them exactly how I want it to look. Then when you give the camera to the other person, they kind of see that angle. It really helps in their mind to see it ahead of time, and they know like to try to get the picture that they're taking to look like the one that you just showed them. They'll try to mimic the angle, they'll try to mimic the lighting, and it just helps a lot seeing a visual beforehand when you're having somebody take your picture. So that is a major tip that I use when I'm having somebody take a picture of me. Okay, and then when you are actually in those photos, tip number 9, I always do the smile progression. I've talked about this a lot on my Instagram. This is my number 1 photo tip, and how to try to get a natural smile in photos, because smiles can often look very forced, especially when we've been raised on, school picture days, looking all cheesy with our big old grin. So my smile progression tip goes like this. You give the camera to the other person and they start taking a picture of you. And for that first click, you do just like a small, very slight smile, just barely lifting the corners of your mouth. And then you move into a bigger smile, like maybe part your lips a little bit. It's just a slightly bigger smile, a little bigger smirk. And then, you move into that like full big smile that we're used to. And then do one extra one, laugh if you have to, just give a little ha ha ha, and do an open mouth, like big smile. And when you look back at the photos, you'll see that you have a good range of different types of smiles. And you'll also have some cute little in-between moments that are oftentimes really special. And just going off of that, this wasn't even on my list, but when somebody is taking an iPhone photo of you, have them turn on the volume, if you're in a location that you can do that, turn on the volume so that you can hear each one of those clicks. Click, 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 and then you know when to change your pose, and it's just a lot better. I have many times on castings done this because I am auditioning for a job where I have to look good in the photos, and they'll just hold up the camera. I don't know how many pictures they're taking. I don't know when they're taking them. And I'll just sometimes say, hey, would you mind turning on the volume and turning it up so that I can hear the clicks? And I think, first of all, they're very impressed that I asked and took some initiative. And then also it helps get me a better picture. So I think this has helped me in life, just taking casual photos and also at castings and on jobs. It's so funny because even on professional modeling shoots, some photographers have like what I call the silencer on their cameras, where their camera doesn't even make any noise. And although I find that to be annoying, I will say that sometimes you get caught in those in-between moments that are really special. So, it's not the end of the world if you can't get the camera to click, but I personally find it helpful. Let's see if I can get a good can opening sound on here. Little ASMR root beer opening. Moving on to number 10, I do this when I take other people's pictures, and they are always so grateful for it, and I wish people would do it when they took my picture. So here is the tip. After you take a photo or a set of photos, take a video. You can even do it first. I sometimes will take a video before they're even ready for the photo, while they're kind of getting together. Like, I went to a graduation recently, and the girlfriend of the graduate, they were getting together for a photo, and they were kind of looking at each other and laughing and hugging, and then they kind of turned to the camera and they were ready for their picture to be taken. And I got a video of that little moment happening beforehand, and it was so cute. And then you go ahead and take the pictures, and they are always so grateful to have that little motion video before or afterwards. It always turns out so cute. So that is my recommendation. Even after you take the pictures, you can just, without even telling them, throw on a little video and then just be like, ha ha ha, candid moment. And they'll just be like, laugh, look at each other, whatever. And they are always just the cutest little moments. So give that a try next time you're taking somebody's picture. Number 11, if you don't have somebody to take your picture for you, have no fear. There is an amazing app out there. It's called Lens Buddy, and it is my best frickin' friend in the whole wide world, okay? Lens Buddy, you click it once, you select how many pictures you want it to take and how frequently you want it to take them, and it just automatically does it. I've always said, why doesn't the iPhone have this feature? But probably they will one day, mark my word. But Lens Buddy is available, and it's awesome. I talk about it all the time. I wish they would sponsor me or something. But they are such a good app for this, and once I discovered this, so many of my issues were solved. You just grab a tripod, turn on the Lens Buddy app, and you can take as many pictures of yourself as you want, and you don't even have to get embarrassed, because I get very embarrassed having somebody else take my picture. I won't do as many. I won't be as fun or cutesy in the pictures. I just have so much more confidence shooting by myself. So the Lens Buddy app has been a lifesaver. I don't think it's available on Android. I think just iPhone for now, but I'm sure there are similar apps available. Just hit them with a little Google search. All right, moving on to number 12. This goes for job interviews. I don't know what else. Maybe meeting a first date or something. For me, I am using the example of a model casting. When I go into that waiting room, I never look at my phone. I have my eyes up, I'm ready to be called, and I'm kind of just taking in my surroundings. And in this day and age, I totally understand how that can feel a little weird. We are very used to, like, anytime we're uncomfortable or by ourselves, we just pull out our phone. And at a job interview or casting, or like I said, meeting a first date or whatever, it is it shows so much confidence to just have your head high, looking around with a slight smile, just like looking good, looking ready, looking confident. And I think it really does translate. I think that, for me, when the casting director walks into the room and looks at a sea of girls on their phone and one person smiling and looking up, I just think it translates really well. And, will book me the job. Maybe we'll book you the job in a regular job interview, or maybe, it'll make your first date just that much more interested. I don't know. Anyway, kind of going along with that, I think this fits for all three of those topics as well. Number 13, have an answer for tell me about yourself. I literally hate when people ask this question because it's not even a question. They just say, tell me about yourself. And I hate this. People do that, when you're first getting to know them, friends, relationships, whatever, if you're in an interview, if you're at a casting, whatever else. So I always like to have kind of a short form, mid form, and long form answer for this question. And if you prepare something in your mind and already have that answer ready to go, it can save you a lot of stress in those situations where the boring interview person or your boring new friend or whatever who's asking the most unoriginal question ever, when they ask you that, you will have something ready to go, and it will save you a lot of stress. Just trust me. So just as an example, I kind of wanted to make this a shorter episode, so I won't go too into detail, but I usually like to say something from my early childhood. Grew up in Seattle, Washington. I have 3 siblings and 2 parents that I absolutely love, whatever. Just, I played a lot of sports, whatever your early stage little pieces. And then I like to say what happened after high school. So maybe you went to college, maybe you traveled the world as a model, whatever you did after college, throw in that. And through that experience, it helped you realize X, X, and X. I wanted to get into social media. I learned my love for community service. Whatever it is. And then translate that into your current life, current career, and what you're currently doing and what you're up to. And that little story makes sense. It's clear, it's concise, and it answers everything they need to know. Number 14, decide to be good with names. I literally hate, one of my biggest pet peeves, I hate when people say, oh, I'm so bad with names. No, you're not. You choose to be bad with names. In 2021, I think it was my 2021 New Year's resolution, it was to be good with names. And whatever you have to do, find a trick. Remember usually for me, I try to remember the first letter of their name, and I just lock that into my mind. And for some reason that helps me remember their whole name. So you're out, this person says, hi, I'm Chris. Of course, repeat it back. That's what everybody says. Nice to meet you, Chris. I'm India. But then once I say that, I think in my mind, okay, Chris. Okay, Chris. I don't know why. The visual of the spelling and then just remembering that first letter helps me lock in the name into my memory. And it is so impressive after you've done a full interview when you repeat back to them their name. Hey, Chris, thanks so much for having me today. Or maybe you just played a round of golf with them. You haven't said their name in 4 hours, but then at the end of the round, pleasure playing with you, Chris. And they love that. I love that. I love when somebody remembers my name. So I'm sure, when I choose to remember somebody's name and actually lock that into my memory, I'm sure they appreciate it too. And I think, again, it just leaves a good impression, shows confidence. And I just think it's a really good skill to have. So no more using the excuse of I'm bad with names. Okay. That is out of our vocabulary. Gonzo. And kind of piggybacking off of that, I think that a good old fashioned firm handshake and eye contact is undervalued these days. I think that just leaves such a strong impression with somebody and shows maturity, shows that you care, that you're interested. I think with COVID and whatnot, everyone's kind of doing this pound, nice to meet you, whatever. But if you're comfortable with it, a good, nice, firm handshake, eye contact, it just means the world. So just maybe keep that in mind going forward if it's something you're comfortable with. Okay, I have a little section on some travel tips because I have traveled a lot for work, by myself, with family, with friends. I've done a lot of traveling, so I wanted to share a few travel tips that I've learned. Number 17, if you don't know about the Skyscanner app, now you do, and you should be using it for all of your travel needs. I love Skyscanner. I believe that it is the place for finding the cheapest flights. I know you've heard that a million times from a million different places. Oh, Expedia, Priceline, Kayak, whatever it is. Skyscanner shows you the cheapest flights if that is your primary goal. if cheap is your goal. Now you may be restricted on baggage stuff, you may have an extra layover, whatever it is, but if you are just looking for a cheap flight, just the basics, Skyscanner is the way to go. And sometimes I'll go to Skyscanner, I'll see the cheap flights, but then I'll go book directly with that airline for that same time and maybe get my, better seat or whatever I want. But it at least shows you the cheapest airline, the cheapest flight, if that's something that you need to focus on. And with that, make sure that you have a frequent flyer account with every airline that you fly. Now, some people fly the same airline all the time, and I think that's great if you can do that because you rack up so many points with them. You can get the credit card. You can really just have that good loyalty with one airline. But when I travel so often, and sometimes I need to just grab a cheap flight, I'll take the cheapest flight there is. It doesn't matter what airline it is. But for every airline that I fly, I create a frequent flyer account ahead of time because it never hurts. Never hurts. Can't hurt you whatsoever. You get some perks occasionally, and then also you never know how many times you're going to accidentally fly that airline in the year, and then all of a sudden at the end of the year you get a free flight or something. So just make sure that you create those accounts every flight that you take, and also make sure to enter your miles into those frequent flyer accounts if it doesn't do it automatically. Okay, so kind of going off of that, number 21, I would definitely recommend that you get a travel credit card. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but I think if it's right for your situation and you're good at paying your credit card bills, a travel credit card is awesome. You can rack up the points so fast. Now, some people prefer to get an airline credit card, which they usually have some amazing sign-on deals. So, they'll offer 90,000 bonus miles if you spend $3,000 in the first 3 months, whatever, which most of us can probably do. And that is awesome. I love to have one of those because you also get the free baggage and things like that. So I think it's good to have one of those. Maybe even every couple of years, get a different airline with a different sign-on bonus. Those are great. But I think that you should also have just a general travel credit card. Chase and American Express are usually the ones that people go for. There are a few different options depending on your, credit score and your bank account. Some credit cards ask for a certain amount down, like $500 a year, whatever it is. And these are just awesome though, because again, you will rack up the points without even noticing. You're swiping your card for your groceries, your gas, whatever else, and it's just slowly giving back to your account so that you can use those points for flights, hotels. I mean, it has saved me so much money. You can save up those points to go on a big trip, or you can use them every month to get, $100 off a flight or something like that, which to be honest, I have been doing these days and I love it. I mean, getting a, $50 flight somewhere that usually costs $200 is really nice. And I've been kind of using it in the short form like that, but I think it's also good to save those up. But anyways, very long story short, I think if you travel frequently, or even if you don't, even if you travel once a year, I think travel credit cards are essential. It's kind of like the whole saving money without even noticing it thing. With travel credit cards, you rack up the points without even noticing that you were racking up the points, and then all of a sudden you have a free vacation. All right, so talking about flying a little bit more, when you're at the airport, this is just a random life hack, but the Starbucks mobile order that you can do for all the Starbucks near your apartment or your house, whatever, you can do that at the airport too. Okay, you can do mobile order at the airport. I did not know this. And those Starbucks lines are so intimidating at the airport. I mean, people will wait in line for 45 minutes or something to get their coffee in the morning. But one time I was walking by and I said, man, I really want one. I really want a Starbucks, okay? And I walked up to the front of the line and I saw that they had that little sign that said mobile order. I was like, what? So I opened my Starbucks app and saw that you could place a mobile order at the airport, and my drink was ready in like 5 minutes. And I felt like a genius. I felt like I was cheating the system, and that is an awesome feeling. So if you have never tried to do Starbucks mobile order at the airport, do it. It's awesome. Okay, another flight app that you should definitely have downloaded on your phone is Hopper. I don't use this one to book flights usually, but it is great for watching flights and locking down a price. So I use Skyscanner to find my just regular day-to-day, just like cheap flights, check out what's going on there. But Hopper, I will put in more long-term travel goals. So let's say next year, I really want to go to Italy. Okay. I want to go to Rome specifically. So I will put in Los Angeles to Rome in my Hopper app, and you can watch that flight. So it will tell you when the price drops. It'll tell you when the price rises. It'll tell you when the app Hopper believes that it is at the lowest it will be and that you should buy right now. And let me tell you from experience, that is usually true. They have some system in place that is very accurate. And I have used this many times for like bigger trips where I'm planning a little bit further in advance. I always feel awesome because I look at the price day of and it's like, $1,000. And then I watch it for just 1 month longer. And on a random Tuesday, it fell to, $432. And I'm like, oh my God, I just saved so much money. I feel awesome about it. And it's the exact same flight. Everything's the same. It just watches it and tells you when it's at the cheapest. So definitely have the Hopper app. The other thing with the Hopper app as well is you can lock down the price of a flight. So if you see that it's pretty low, but it might go higher, it might go lower, I'm not sure. You can pay, I think it's like $28 to lock down the price that it currently is. So if you don't want to purchase it until right before your trip, let's say you want to buy that ticket just a couple weeks before you leave for Italy, you can still use the price that you locked down 6 months ago through the Hopper app. I hope that makes sense. Okay, moving on to hotels. Now, if I had, if I was turning 99 today and I could give 99 different tips, I could list freaking 20 that were all hotel related. I feel like I have learned all the secrets with hotels and getting cheap hotels, getting a better experience at hotels, saving money at hotels. Anyway, the one tip I have about hotels is to always ask for an upgrade. I know that sounds silly. You're like, why would I ask for an upgrade? Like I paid for what I paid for. Get the cheaper basic room and then just ask I was wondering if you have any nicer rooms available. Are there any upgrades available? Just make sure that you have an account with the hotel that you're staying at. So, if it's the Hilton, make sure that you're a Hilton member, and they usually like to see that and will value those customers a little bit more. And it feels like stingy or whatever to like ask, hey, can I have free stuff? Or I just don't like that feeling. But seriously, it works. And I've had plenty of room upgrades offered to me as well, just by being kind and sweet. So that's another tip. Just be pleasant and kind to your hotel staff and good things will come your way. Okay, I actually have one more hotel tip, and I see that we skipped number 16. So going back, tip number 16, randomly thrown in there, is to ask for a lower security deposit. What's that called? Deposit for your incidentals at the hotel. If you are ever strapped for cash or your credit card has a low limit or whatever it is, I have done this many times. You just say, they're like, okay, it's $200 for incidentals. You can literally be like, is it okay if we put $100 down for incidentals? And they usually say yes. It's like, why'd you ask for $200 in the first place if $100 is okay? But anyways, you can always ask to put down less money for incidentals. And I just like doing that as well because it takes them 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 5 days, maybe 7 days to return that money to your account. So in my opinion, it's just nicer not to give as much to the hotel, have them hold on to that money. It's just nicer to give less. I don't know. Sorry. Maybe I'm a cheapo, but it never hurts to ask if that's something you're in need of. Okay, tip number 23. Sorry for the out of order nature of this episode, but tip number 23 is to move your body every day. Now, I know that sounds so basic. Move your body. Everybody says to move your body, sweat once a day, whatever. But literally, it's true. They say it for a reason. It's good for longevity, so good for your body, good for your mental health as well. I have bad knees. I have bipartite patella, it's called. And they will flare up if I just sit on my booty for a long period of time, a few days of doing absolutely nothing, being a lazy piece of crap. And then I get up and try to move and they will hurt very, very badly. So I try to move my body, even just for a little walk every day, keeps my knees good and keeps my body right and also keeps my mental health right. I truly believe that when I start my day with a walk, a workout, whatever it is, the rest of my day is better. And I don't know, everybody has their own tricks for staying happy and keeping their mental health in check. But for me, moving my body early in the morning is crucial and really, really helps keep me happy. Number 24, you do not need a lot of friends. People say this all the time, but it is so true. And I have been somebody who's never had a ton of friends. Like, I used to love the show Friends. I still love it. And I kind of saw that they had this group. It's like the 6 of them, and they're all best friends, and they spend holidays together, and they are just inseparable. And I never had that group. I had one friend who lives in Australia, and then another friend who's in New York, one who's in LA, one who's in Seattle, and our worlds never intertwine. I've never been like a person who has a fun group of friends. Birthday parties are always tough because I'm like, do I invite all these people from all over the place? No, I usually choose to spend my birthday with like one person or with my family or something, because I don't have that big group of friends, and it makes me like sad to think that I don't. But mindset shift, you should not care if you don't have many friends. I think having 1 to 3 best friends is all you need. I would say I have, 2 that I talk to regularly, and maybe a third one that I catch up with every now and then. And that's really all I need. Like, I just think having those really close bonds with less people is so much more valuable than having a bunch of friends you're like sort of friends with. So all I'm saying is, if you feel that you are maybe a little bit of a loner or an outcast, or you don't have many friends, don't even think that way. Just focus on the few people that you do have in your life that you love and you care about. And even if that's your dog or your family or whatever, just focus on those, because really strong friendships, relationships are just so much valuable than having a bunch of acquaintances. Okay. Anyways, moving on to number 24. I just said that. Sorry. Moving on to number 25, get to know yourself alone. I love being alone. Speaking of, I just said, if you're a loner, basically like myself. No, I'm kidding. You're not a loner. If you just value being alone, maybe if you're a little bit more of an introvert, hello, welcome to the club. That's me as well. But anyways, the tip is to get to know yourself alone. And I think this is so important in life, because people, whether they're trying or not, they affect your decisions. If I'm deciding, should I go get coffee or should I go get a bagel? If I'm with somebody else, they're going to have an opinion on that. Maybe I'm with my mom and she hates bagels, and so I'm going to feel like I want to go to coffee now. That's a really random example, but people around you just affect your decisions, and they'll affect what you do with your life, the types of people you interact with. They'll affect everything. Your work, if you choose to accept an opportunity versus decline an opportunity. I mean, people around you just affect your life. End of. And so I think taking some time to yourself, whether that's like traveling alone or just even like going on a 2-hour hike by yourself or something, going on a walk alone, listening to your podcast, just like getting to know yourself, having a movie night alone at home, just doing things by yourself and getting to know yourself as an individual is so important. And even though, in life we do have people around us, we have our significant others, our family, our children, whatever it is, and you do want to take their opinions into consideration. I think it's really important to know what you want as an individual and have opinions for yourself. That just got deep. Okay, anyways, moving on to number 26. This is my biggest tip for when you're stressed. I get stressed a lot. I would say I have anxiety, but I don't, because that is a real illness and needs to be diagnosed, and I am not diagnosed. I just get stressed every once in a while, okay? As we all do. When you're stressed, here's my biggest tip. Create a to-do list, write everything down that is on your mind. Absolutely get it out of your head and onto a sheet of paper. I usually use a pen and paper or my notes app in the iPhone. Write everything down that is stressing you out so that nothing is left in your mind. Because I think sometimes we'll like get stressed about something and then we'll remember, oh yeah, I also have to be stressed about this. And then, oh yeah, I got to do my laundry. And then, oh my God, I didn't move my car for the street cleaning, whatever it is. Every little tiny thought that you have, big or small, write it down on a complete list until you feel like you can breathe and everything is out of your mind. And then the next step is to go through that list and just start crossing things off, small or big. If it's like, fold the laundry, just go into your room, fold the laundry, and cross off that one. The satisfaction and relief I get from just crossing an item off my to-do list is massive. So Yes, that is my tip. Get everything out of your head and onto a piece of paper, and then slowly just start crossing them off, big or small. Feel proud of your achievements. Even if it's take a shower, go take a shower and cross that off the list, and it'll feel amazing. And number 27, the last one on my list, this was really fun, and I think I should do it again, by the way, maybe for my next year's birthday. But anyway, number 27, my biggest tip, I say this all the time. If you've been following me for a while, you've probably heard me say this way too many times, but nobody works harder for you than you. This is my biggest tip, because anything in life, your friends, your coworkers, your boss, your agents, whatever it is, they all have their own lives to worry about. Nobody is going to work as hard for you as you will. You have to know what you want to achieve, and you have to get yourself there ultimately. I have spent a lot of time, I've wasted a lot of time waiting on agents to get me work, when all along I could have been out there getting work myself. I've tried to have several social media managers along the way who I thought would, accelerate my career and make me a lot of money. But turns out they have a roster of hundreds of other people that they're also trying to focus on. And so I've decided that for myself, being able to get myself my own work is the only way I can be successful, because I know what I want. I'll work hard for myself, and nobody else really cares. That's the harsh truth, but that is how it is. So if you want that promotion at work, don't wait for your coworker to recommend you, or don't wait for, your boss to do it for you. Go get that yourself. If that's something you want, overachieve, show that you're the best candidate, go that extra mile, because that is what you want. I don't know if that makes sense for that particular situation. In my industry, it makes a ton of sense. For modeling, you can get on these apps like Newbook, Swipecast. There's different apps where you can get modeling jobs yourself. And I just love that I can take my career into my own hands, because as much as I do love my agents and they get me relatively frequent work, I want to work even more than that. And so being able to go and get jobs myself and not rely on anybody else has been just a dream. And I definitely recommend that whatever you're doing in life, whatever you want in life, do it yourself and go get it done. Don't wait for anybody else. Okay. On that note, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. Sorry, it's a bit all over the place and not super on brand for the Business of Beauty podcast, but we talked about a couple of little finance things, a couple of beauty things. We got them in there. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next Tuesday for another interview, back on schedule with that stuff. Thanks for listening to the solo episode, and have a great Tuesday. Bye, guys.